everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 video. Oh, the joys I've had of recording this video. I said to myself, I put a post up, I was not going to create any content around Christmas and New Year for two reasons. One, it being Christmas and New Year, and two, I've got a new control setup. Now, if you watched a previous video, I've already explained that I have purchased the Honeycomb Alpha and Honeycomb Bravo setup. And for the last 2 days now, since purchasing it and being delivered, I have been creating profiles, and then flying a little bit, and then creating a profile, and then flying a little bit, and then tweaking said profile, and then flying a little bit. And it's just been going backwards and forwards. And it's not just a simple little one profile. Oh, no. I have to add many profiles. Single engined, twin engined, turboprop, helicopter. Yeah, and even now, I've got the basics covered, I think. But there are times when I'm still learning different buttons, and I'm figuring out, while I'm flying, that certain buttons are in the wrong position, in the wrong place, and it's not coming to memory. It's a bit of a mess. But I digress. I am here. It's a Flight Simulator 2020 video, and I've got an airplane. So that must mean I'm going to fly it. I'm going to hope so, anyway. Anyway, bit of background history. This is the Cessna 310R by Blackbird Simulations, ex-Milviz company, and it has featured before in the very early days of this channel, and it is a very, very good twin-engine aircraft. I love this little thing. It's fast, it's manoeuvrable, it's smart enough in the fact that we have folding undercarriage, a GTN 750, a very good cockpit. You can do long-range navigation in this thing, and it's got a military repaint, which it just tickles me no end that there's a Cessna 310 with a military repaint. And yes, it actually exists. It was called the Blue Canoe, for obvious reasons. The fuselage looks like a canoe, and it's painted blue. And like I said, this is, ignoring the repaint, it's a very, very good aircraft. It sounds good, it handles great, and it is a very good learning aircraft for me, because I'm going to be flying it with the yoke. This is the first video that I've done with the full Alpha and Bravo setup. Previous video only having the Bravo. So, yes, what could possibly go wrong? Anyway, where am I? I am currently at RAF Waddingotn in Lincolnshire, the updated RAF Waddingotn. This is a freeware scenery available on flightsim.to, link below. I didn't even know there was an update for this thing. I accepted the fact that this scenery is completely free, probably created by one person, and it was very good compared to, obviously, the scenery that comes with the simulator as standard, but obviously it's not a military RAF base, whereas this scenery does give you the proper hangars, and the E3 hangar there to the right, where the red arrows now are. It makes it more realistic, and this is my home RAF base, so I accepted that. There was an update that changed quite a few things, like, for instance, we start to have buildings that were there in the simulator, but not accurate. This building here, the Thompson building, actually now has the name on the side of it, and it actually looks like the Thompson building. So yeah, it's a very, very good piece of scenery, considering it's completely free of charge. Like I say, available on flightsim.to. So today's flight, we're going to be taking the Cessna 310R here, and we're going to be flying up to Humberside. It's a little flight, but it's another training flight for me, because I haven't flown a yoke, or with a yoke even, for a long time. Short of the last 2 days, which I've been doing nothing but flying with a yoke. But it's something new and different for me, because I still have, I should say, the Thrustmaster Warthog stick. And it's a great stick, don't get me wrong. It is a combat stick. It works perfectly well in Flight Simulator, but a stick and a yoke are two very different things. And now I've got this wonderful yoke in front of me, and it's going to be fun. So anyway, let's get this aircraft started. We'll go through a few things while we are starting up. So let's get Trackir turned on. I think that's turned on. Yes, it is turned on. Right, so we shall have battery, alternator, turn them on. We're going to have the engine started fairly quickly. So we will have left mixture, left propeller mixed, pitch even, bit of throttle. All mags are on. Just checking down below. Yes, we shall have high on propeller. Fuel. Lights, we will have beacon, and we shall have nav lights on. Sorry the view had to go down like that. That's why I've got the switches for that. So we are clear on the left, clear on the front, and clear on the right. So starting left engine. Power down to about 1000 RPM. Pull mixture back a touch. And we'll have right mixture up. Propeller pitch full. Throttle set. Auxiliary pump off, auxiliary pump on. Everything else is set. We are clear on the right. And good start. So we'll start setting up the autopilot. We shall set for 2500. We will be doing a heading mode, and I'll set that up as I get through to it. Set for GPS, squawking 7000 and altitude correct. Flaps are already down on the walk round, which I did not do, but I noticed on the outside view. So lights are all correct. We shall now have tax lights on. So let's go out. Brake check. It's so nice to have a proper throttle quadrant with twin sticks, twin axes for all the throttle arrangement. Another great thing about this yoke is the fact I've got 180 degrees of bank and turn, which is something the old SciTac stroke Logitech ProFlight yoke does not have. So what I have remembered, this is the joyous thing, I've been bouncing around profiles all my time, is I have the wrong rudder profile set up. I don't want the ATV. That was the wrong one as well. This is all I've been doing. That's not what I wanted. I have two profiles set up. One is for the ATV, which is more sensitive, and this one does not need to be sensitive. So, right, we'll have landing lights are coming on, strobe lights are coming on, we'll have the veto heat, I think is one of these buttons. Veto heat, that's what I wanted. Full mixture. So altitude, autopilot even is set for 2,500 feet. We will be departing out of runway 20 here and into a right-hand departure, climbing up for 2,500 feet and making our run over towards Humberside. Takeoff will be circa around the 80 knots indicated. Yeah, there's not really much else I can really go through. centralised, sit on the wheel brake, tap the heading bolt to come back up north where we want it. So levers are correct, throttle is correct, lights are correct, flaps are one stage, gear will be retracting obviously after takeoff. Right hand departure, let's go. Do two things at once, it's always a good thing. Back brakes, gear coming up. Back through up. Off, tax lights off. Start for our right hand departure. Autopilot on. Heading mode selected. And currently sitting on vertical speed as we climb up for 2,500. Over to altitude mode to make our final climb. And there we are. So as we make our run out towards Humberside, what are my initial thoughts of the Honeycomb setup? Well, build quality is absolutely really good. All the bits and pieces that need to be solid, the buttons, the levers, everything you interact with are very good build quality. Like I say, it does have the 6 lever options, so you have a multitude of different setups that you can go for. I've gone for the general aviation setup, which obviously will work for all my style of videos, but you can, included with the package, you do have options for a traditional 4-engined airliner with thrust reverse levers. Very easy to connect, they just connect onto the stalks very easily. Like I said, I did have the Cytec ProFlight yoke, and it's still a good option. You still can't knock it for the price that it retails for. You're looking at about £130, £150 in the UK, and it is still readily available from various different retailers, and it still gives you the options that you need for flying with a yoke. It doesn't have the 180-degree bank and turn, which is a big thing. It's a very big thing, because aircraft now have, or in real I should say, they have 180 degrees of travel. So the ProFlight yoke does not have that. It does have a throttle unit that you can get with the purchase with your yoke, which is a 3-lever option. You can purchase other yokes, other throttle quadrants to give you your 6 levers. So it functions quite well. It still works in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Dare say it still works in 2024. But it's an old piece of hardware. I got it when it was still Cytec, when they were still on the go. And so when I decided to buy myself a yoke, I was kind of limited to the Honeycomb options and the Turtle Beach options. And like I said at the start of the video, the Turtle Beach option does have push-pull throttles, which are very much integral to Cessnas and other light aircraft. Obviously this aircraft doesn't have that arrangement, we have the stalks and sticks. But push-pull throttle controls is a very big plus side for me flying general aviation aircraft. What I didn't like about it when I was doing the reviews and looking at them was the fact that the control, the actual yoke itself, has a rather big detent in the neutral position. And what I mean by that is, as you push the yoke forward and bring it back, when you get to the neutral position, you can physically feel a freeing up of the springs or the motors or whatever's inside the actual yoke box. And that's not how real aircraft work. Now, yes, Honeycomb still has a slight detent in the neutral position, but on the whole, it's actually really not noticeable. And on the plus side, when it comes to the yoke controls, you know, the banking, the climbing, the descent, they're very smooth. It is a very heavy unit to move, to manipulate, but that leads towards smooth flying. So it really was kind of a no-brainer to me to get the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo. Of course, the downside as well, I just remembered, the Turtle Beach comes with the throttle unit. It connects to the yoke, so you purchase them together. Whereas the Honeycomb setup, the Alpha and the Bravo, you're buying them together, you will pay more money for the privilege of having a yoke and the throttle. But I think it's absolutely amazing. I've done quite a few flights now in various different styles of aircraft, and the smoothness of this setup just is absolutely beyond approach for me. Absolutely amazing. What I will say as well, along with the Turtle Beach option, you do get a trim wheel. And the trim wheel is, I wouldn't say it's a gimmick, because it works. It's not an axis. What it is a momentary button, I think they call it, so the simulator reads it as a button. And so it's not quite as, there's a lot of movement you have to do with the actual trim wheel to get a response in the simulator. Now this differs from aircraft to aircraft. I've noticed some of the Coronado aircraft I was trying out when I was creating my single engine profile actually responded quite well to the trim. In fact, we shall disengage the autopilot and I shall demonstrate. So we'll level it up. And I'm starting to trim up, And I'm actually getting quite a good response out of that. I'm taking the trim off. Oh, once again, actually that's not a bad response. So I would say the trim wheel works quite well. It's probably a little finicky to get it to actually level out. But in the Cessna 310 here, the trim wheel works pretty well. And the Coronado aircraft I was trying, I can't remember which ones it was now, but they responded quite well as well. But I think in the A2A Comanche 250, it was a little bit lacking. There's a lot of movement required to make the trim wheel actually work, so you do have to set up a trim button on the yoke. So anyway, Humberside is currently off to our 1 o'clock, so we are going to fly on past it, and we'll start our descent into the airfield. Set up for our lights, so we'll extend, oh, yes, it was the right way, extend and illuminate our landing lights. I will say as a pre-warning, my landings with the yoke have been interesting, to say the least, so I'm hoping this is going to be a good landing. You put the camera on, that's when the landing is going to be hit and miss. Flaps down one stage, retrim, we'll start a lazy right hand turn and descent. So landing lights are down, mixtures are full. This is what I've missed with having the flight stick that I had, the Fussmaster Warthog, is the fact of the gentle, lazy turns. Gear coming down. Gear down, 3 green. Long enough runway here at Humberside. Not visual with runway. Typically we're landing into the sun. I think you can actually put these down. Actually see a little bit better. 3 turn-on finals. Final tracks, mixtures are good, poppage is good, propellers are good, gear is down, and lock 3 green, flaps down 1 stage. Bit of a crosswind, 10 knots. A squirrely landing. More down to the rudder pedals than the yoke. Backtracking back up the runway here. So, apart from the landing, which was a bit squirrely, but that's once we're on the ground, that's more the rudder pedals. Would I recommend the Honeycomb setup? Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. If you are interested in purchasing a yoke, adding it to the next level of your flight simulator evolution, then the Honeycomb setup, I think, is really, really good. At the very least, the Alpha and the Bravo, I mean, obviously, people have various rudder pedals. I'm running the Virpil rudder pedal, so I don't need to get Honeycomb's idea of rudder pedals, but the yoke is fantastic. You can buy them separately, or you can buy them as a setup. I actually bought them as a pair. I don't know if I got any money off, you know, buying them as a pair, but obviously I knew that I needed them as a pair, so that's fine for me. It does take a little bit of setting up, because obviously it's a new piece of hardware, and if you do get the throttles as well, they need to be set up as well. Oops, strobe lights are off, landing lights are off, taxi lights are on, and we shall retract our taxi lights. If I can just click on that. Thank you. Thank you, that's what I wanted. So yeah, like I say, I think it's well worth the money. It does take a bit of time setting up. Obviously, if you're just using a particular type of aircraft, you could probably get away with less profiles. I do have to have quite a few profiles, and I'm still going to be working on them over Christmas to sort them out. I've got the main of them sorted out at the moment. Does it add realism to your aircraft? Without a shadow of a doubt. Having 6 throttle levers gives you multiple options for differing amounts of engines. Obviously, if you have a single engine setup, you can run the engine, the throttle, prop pitch and mixture on any lever you want. If you have a twin setup, you can do the same. Obviously, if you have a 4 engine setup, then you know it's a little bit different, because if you want individual throttles. So let's just stop this aircraft. So we'll have right engine shut down and left engine shut down. So Lights all off. So there we go. The Cessna 310, we didn't retract our lights for some reason. Great aircraft, absolutely awesome aircraft. I'm going to see this one in the videos, in future videos, because I think it's really, really good as a long distance touring aircraft. So you will see that doing some more longer distance flights. But yes, going back to the Honeycomb, it's absolutely fantastic. I do rave over it, and it is going to feature and make my flying a little bit better. Or I say a lot better, I should say, because my flying is not brilliant at the best of times. I will possibly do a video in the new year actually showing off the hardware itself, but for now, I'm really impressed with Honeycomb's Alpha and Bravo. And if you've got any questions or comments regarding the Alpha and the Bravo, or you have any ideas, any suggestions on setups for profiles, what you've done in the past to make yours work better for various different styles of aircraft, please let me know. I'm always interested. If you want any questions about the flight or the aircraft I'm flying, the Blackbird Simulations Cessna 310, please bang them below. I'll answer them as well. And I will see you guys and girls in a future Microsoft Flight Simulator video very, very soon.